Welcome to Candid with Claudia, from possibility to reality. I am your host, Claudia Cabillos. Here, real conversation meets inspiring stories, from bold dreams to powerful transformations. Each episode, we sit down with remarkable guests, such as yourself, from our local community who've turned their vision into their reality. Together, we'll explore their journeys, celebrate their achievements, and discover the unique flavor they bring to our shared experience. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get candid. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me, Claudia.
I am really excited to have you here today. So last night I was doing some thinking about how we met, and that was 2019, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe in the earlier part of 2019.
And you had this big dream, and you had this big vision. I remember thinking to myself, oh, this guy has big dreams, but I don't know how that's going to happen. But we're gonna see how that's going to happen. So I really wanted you to talk us through who you are. I want to dive into how you made this big dream a beautiful reality. And in El Portal, we call it the coolest place on earth to be, SkateBird Miami. Let's talk a little bit as entrepreneurs, how that was for you to make it a reality. And then we're going to touch in a little bit on how local processes and regulations and how they help or don't help us as entrepreneurs in that process. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your possibility reality with SkateBird Miami.
Well, I started my journey in building skatable spaces back in 2014. I got the opportunity with a developer in New York City, in Williamsburg, with Two Trees, to build a pump track with a company called Velo Solutions. And so we built a pump track to activate a space that was a dead zone where the Domino Sugar Factory was. And we built it, and it became like the beating heart of Williamsburg. This is back in 2014. And so over the next 4 years, it was just like, it was the community anchor. We partnered with a urban farm. And so it was like an urban farm meets skatable and bikeable space, and it made community. It did so much that it even gave them more density credits so that they could build more and make more money in the long run, you know. So,
and did that city help you in the process and navigate that?
No, we just had some help building the park, and then it was on us to operate it or bring cool to the neighborhood, you know. And so we effectively, it kind of did it. It didn't take that much to bring the cool, you know. And so that was like the start of my case study, basically. I went on to continue to build parks throughout the country, and even in China, I got to build a park.
That.
And every time that we would build a park, I would sell the city or provide an amazing rendering like what you see SkateBird Miami is today, and it would be a multi-million-dollar park. And all of a sudden, the different agendas come into play and what have you, and they say, you know what, the skateboarders or the bikers, they don't need that kind of park. We only have about a couple $100,000 to do. So what would it look like if we had only $300,000? And so you'd go back to the drawing board. The rendering that was shown before the commission is now kind of like, wow, incredible. And then all of a sudden you have to cut it back from a $2 million project to a $300,000 project. So there goes the landscaping, there goes the shade structures, there goes the water fountains, there goes the bathrooms, there goes the little kiosk that'll stimulate some local business where somebody could rent it and do a concession stand, you know? And there goes everything except for the nice little park benches and the gray blob, which is the skatable space, you know? And after you do that, you're bummed out, but at the end of the day, you know deep down inside you're doing something great for the community. The community is going to really appreciate it. They're going to love it. And effectively, of course, you get to the ribbon cutting day, the park is built, all the council members and elected officials show up, and they want to cut that ribbon, and they want to smile and say,
and
look what I did.
Do they continue coming afterwards?
They don't come, but it creates an amazing like community hub, you know? Skateboarding, to me, what I've seen over the years is it's the trendsetter to the three pillars of street culture. You know, like street culture.
What are the three pillars?
It grows out of fashion, art, and music. You know, and skateboarding is the influencer to it. You know, so punk rock music or hip hop music.
I heard. I think you were in a podcast or something not that long ago, and I heard you say something that sparked to me, and that was skateboarding was I don't know if it was a privileged sport, but it was a sport that not everybody felt comfortable with or knew they can do that. Rail slide is hard, right? But then you said it was the 1990s, which I believe is my era. I love the 90s, right? That it was Tony.
Yeah, Tony Hawk came out
Tony
with a
Hawk
video
came out.
game.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so
the
now
video
I
game.
brought it to everybody's fingertips. So now everybody could skate, you know?
Exactly.
You didn't have to go to the streets to skate anymore. And that's what really gave it an elevation that's really unmatched when you look at it from the outside going in.
Now tell us about SkateBird Miami. How did you find El Portal? Why El Portal? And tell us a little bit about that park.
So I'm a true testament that like community helps build a village and the village helps the community to grow.
I
You know,
agree.
and so I was born and raised in Miami. My dad is a pillar to community. He's probably taught more people how to swim in Miami than any other swim instructor around. He's been teaching uninterrupted since he got his swimming scholarship in 1971 to go to the University of Miami. Over probably more than 100,000 kids have learned to swim because of my dad.
Amazing.
So I had this issue of every single park that we design gets cut. The budget gets cut because there's other agendas or other things that happen, but the park still does its job. It gives creatives.
When you say
an
other
opportunity.
agenda, I mean your investors, or you mean the
tax
town?
dollar
The
agendas.
tax dollar. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there might be enough tax dollars to spend for a $2 million skateboard park, but at the end of the day, there's also the neighborhood pool that needs a new pump, and there's the new commissioner that wants to make his mark, and he promised this community a grant for a small business. And so they start seeing that the $2 million that was allocated to the park, the kids in the skate park don't really need $2 million.
Yeah.
They can just do something with $300,000. We have 1.7
Are
million.
those some of the issues you had when you were in El Portal?
No, that's an issue we had in Hollover Beach.
Yeah.
That's an issue we
Yeah, that's what I
had
thought.
in Boston. We've had it all across the country, everywhere.
But what are some issues you had in El Portal when you brought that idea to us? I was on the council back then.
Yeah. So
I was incredibly supportive.
I got tired of going the city route and going tax funding.
Yes.
And COVID hit, and it was weird times, and I had a very good pipeline of public parks to build, but it wasn't enough, the impact we were doing with just these gray blob skate parks, you know, and it always would responsibly gentrify the neighborhood where we did it, you know, like, and so for El Portal.
Definitely, because right after you, the Cavista Apartments came, and now there's going to be new development.
El Portal,
So, yeah.
I wanted to prove my time not downfall, but like kind of disappointment that I had internally with myself with El Portal. So I said, I'm going to go to my friends that always were my cheerleaders. I'm going to go to everyone that I know, that I grew up with, family and everything, and say, you know what? Now is the time. I'm not going to go seek government funding. I'm going to invest my own, and I want you guys to help me so we could invest in a park that holds back nothing. And it does all the bells and whistles to show municipalities and tourism bureaus and government all across the world that if you build a vibrant community with skateboarding as its central pillar, you will build something very special, and it'll change the way developers think. It'll change the way the neighborhood thinks and all of that. So luckily I was driving down US 1 and I saw Space for Lease, right? And underneath it said, call Don Bailey Jr. And it was funny, and I was like, how the hell am I going to get in touch with Don Bailey Jr.? He doesn't even come to the door at the carpet store. Yeah. I walked in, he wasn't there. I did it.
This is 83rd and US
and
1.
Biscayne. And I said, wait a minute. I think that my dad probably either taught him or taught his kid or taught his wife or somebody in that network got a swimming lesson at some point. So I call up my dad and I say, Dad, you have anything to do with Don? He's like, Priscilla, his wife, she's such a gem of a girl, she's incredible.
There you go.
I have his number. He took a few swimming lessons with me.
It.
I was like, wow, okay. So I call him up and I say, Mr. Bailey, he's like, come on, you're Robert Strauss's son. You can talk to me like your family. I was like, oh, wow. All right. Well, so would you like to gift me a property in El Portal?
I don't like you that much.
He's like, well, I don't like you that much, but we haven't figured out what to do with this land. We've owned it since 1962, and it used to be part of the trailer park. We took it back, and we know that it's El Portal land, So if you could figure out, we'll do a real estate deal with you. And I was like, wow, okay, great. So
So was negotiating with Don Bailey, senior or junior, wasn't too difficult. So you were able to navigate that, and
it
then
wasn't
come
difficult. It
to
was
us.
just very like it was scary because it was a lot of money for
Of
me
course.
to like kind of guarantee with a concept that wasn't
Yeah.
yet flushed out or
Yeah.
what have you. I hate myself to this day because I should have negotiated to buy the land from him then
Well,
because
it's never too late.
we'll get to the
We'll get to that.
we'll get to that point.
But let's get a little bit into
But so I was also fortunate that I had just done the Hollover Beach pump track, and that was a huge success. And the mayor of Surfside, which was the big pillar
That's
that
who
helped
contacted
me get all like we did something so spectacular in Hollover Beach. It was like I give Daniel a ton of credit because the cities, all the municipalities along the beach, Sunny Isles, Bay Harbor, Bell Harbor, Surfside, and Miami Beach, and Dade County for that matter, they can't even agree on a set bus route for the community. You know, like they don't even share the trolley service. It's you have to
Yeah.
get off the trolley in Miami
To get
Beach
on
and
the
get
next
onto
one.
a Surfside one,
Yeah,
and then
I've
get
seen
onto
it.
a
I've
Bay.
seen
Har-
it.
They can't
Same
even
in
do
Miami.
that. And so with skateboarding, Daniel said, "You know what? I'm going to get everyone to collaborate." So we went and he with me and my support helping him with designs and all that stuff, we were able to get all 5 municipalities to work together to fund the Hollover Park. So Daniel was like riding high on this, and he's like, you know, if you're gonna do something to not have what happened in Hollow, because all the municipalities had agreed to pay for a $2.5 million park. Dade County kind of said, no, we don't. It's not in the master plan. You can't do a park that expensive, so we had to cut it back. But regardless, we built a great destination
100%.
park. And Daniel said, you know what? If you want to do this private type space to show really what skateboarding can do, go to El Portal. I'll introduce you to Claudia Cubillos. I was like, wow, you can just pick up the phone and call the mayor of a municipality? Like he's like, I'm a mayor here. I can call and see. And so luckily you gave us a meeting like literally probably the next day after the thing, and I presented the goal and the vision of what I wanted to do, and I wanted to create a space off the back of skateboarding that could host events and could host food and beverage and could host different retailers to help small businesses grow or micro businesses leave their trunks of their cars and have a little brick and mortar, you know, even though in a shipping container it's
Yeah,
kind of
but
small,
no,
but they could have it and maybe grow,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
And so that's how SkateBird was
Skateboard
born.
Miami. Skateboard Miami in El Portal.
In El Portal, yes.
So and that was I left office in 2020, and then I was a part of the groundbreaking. I think it was 2020 or 2021. Then I went to the ribbon cutting in 2022. So a lot of time has passed. And every time I drive by, there are tons of kids, tons of things going on. And we're going to talk a little bit about your in-house food, which I'm excited about that. But let's talk real talk, right? So let's talk about, some shared experiences, because I want entrepreneurs to walk away with being able to know that, hey, you have this big dream and you can make it a reality. And you went through a lot of struggles. One thing is getting it off the ground. And then one thing is getting the ship to continually move, right? The wheels got to keep turning because the dollar bills got to keep coming in. We got to make payroll. We got to make rent. We got to make mortgage and all that good stuff. So I talk a little bit about how that's gone for you. And I come from local government as well, and I am a private business owner, and I'm always about, and I always admire, and I'm going to just use one municipality as an example, Miami Lakes. There was a mayor there at the time. I'm unfamiliar with who the mayor is today, but at the time it was Manny Sid. He was so pro small business, pro local development, and such a champion to be in there present, not just at the ribbon cutting, but just ongoing with whatever the city can do. And it doesn't take money. You don't have to necessarily, give money to a local business, but there's so many partnerships that we can do and collaborations and et cetera. And I always admire his efforts. And then I later discovered, because he's a small business owner too, right? So, that made sense. Something to be said about, business owners getting into local government. But let's talk about that. How much has the village helped you? I mean, I see the community has embraced you. I've definitely embraced you as a local entrepreneur. I definitely send my child there to different camps there throughout the year when I can. Let's talk a little bit about how local government, we don't have to necessarily mean Upper Towel, how can they work with small businesses and help us more navigate not only the initial process and getting planning and zoning done and getting us off the ground with our permits, but how can they work with us to help us navigate fines after for reasons that are not necessarily hazard or safety? How can we? I'd like to leave audience away before we go into a really exciting thing next. How they can navigate that process. Like, having experience, you're an entrepreneur now for 5 years now. What is something that you went through that in your head as entrepreneurs thinking, gosh, if I was in government, I would streamline it like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I know the challenges of a municipality. They're very understaffed. They're very underfunded, or so it seems, right? And so it is challenging that one location needs permits or what have you, or needs things, and they also sometimes because they're so understaffed or they're so undermanned, they have so many things that they have to deal with, whether it's the next council meeting or the next permit meeting, or trying to figure out the turnover in the county, because in small municipalities, you can't just pull a permit with your municipality. You have to go through Dade County, which is the monster of bureaucracy, right? And so the biggest challenge for me was presenting to El Portal, having El Portal on board. The other thing was there was a change in elected officials, which Mayor Omar has been amazing and a huge supporter of SkateBird.
Agreed.
You approved the plan, and then
He helped it
things
come to
like
life.
that. And so he helped it come to life, and it's very hard because even town staff changed in the change or what have you. And so sometimes it's personal DNAs don't mash or gel, and so that comes into play. And so you're dealing with emotions and actual timelines and actual getting things done. So when you in my perspective, I'm an extremely passionate person when it comes to getting the job done. So
Well, I think as entrepreneurs, it's passion what leads us to
Right.
make things become a reality.
I'll jump through any hoop, I'll run through any wall, and I'm not going to take no for an answer, or
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept the bureaucratic call of, well, let's just wait till the next department gets to review it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'll pick up the phone, and sometimes that does, I guess, rub people the wrong way.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because when I was the mayor, people would tell me, you get things done because you own a business. You understand that things may not happen overnight, it happens over time. But for you as a business owner, it has to happen overnight, because you got to make payroll, because you got to pay your mortgage, because you got things to do. And at the end of the day, you'd like a buck to, you like to stay with a
Right.
buck, right? And so there's something to be said about entrepreneurs and business owners being in office because you get it. You don't have, and I'm gonna say it, you don't have the government attitude where like, oh, you know what, we can do it tomorrow. And it's not to say anything on anyone, but unfortunately that seems to happen often, not everywhere, but it seems to happen. And
Right.
that really hinders our ability to drive business, our ability to make the money, our ability to offer opportunities. I've employed, and I think you have too, many people that live in El Portal. I think you were sharing with me that a lot of your employees now live in the Cavista, which is right next to you. So guess what? You're providing revenue to them. So, how can we educate this local government who we are, and what we do? Because what we do is so great, and what we can offer is so great. You do community events. I mean, you really drive in. And I say you, but we did a lot of collaborations when I was in office, back. There's just so much that local entrepreneurs can do. And I want to close on this before we go to the really exciting part, is how can we educate local government, especially small municipalities that you said it, they are understaffed. But you know what? If we worked better as partners, we can help in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
100%.
I think the greatest strength to any local government is their relationship with the big government, which is with
Yes.
Miami-Dade.
Yes.
If I were to defund other things or stop paying for things, I would really focus. And if I could give the number one suggestion that'll help El Portal really boom, especially with the new development that's
Yes.
happening, and the new another Cavista project
Yes.
that's coming in, and all these things, they really should have a person on staff that is solely focused on developer and municipal relationships.
Like a
Someone
liaison.
Someone that knows who at Miami-Dade Fire, who at Durham, because those are the two hardest departments to get through. Like in my own personal experience, it took us 3 months to get through fire with our plans. 3 separate virtual meetings that you have to pay for every time, only because they didn't understand what a skate park was. They didn't understand why we were coming up with the calculations for capacity, why we were coming up with the, and so until, and I allowed the first 2 months to go with our design professionals. And I just couldn't believe that they couldn't jump through that hoop. And it took the third meeting with me where I could fully explain, and I had to show videos and things of.
And you had to show your
why,
passion.
Yes, I had to show the passion, and it finally got through. And it's just it hurts the smaller businesses which are investing their life into these projects. A month time is an eternity for us, and that was the hardest thing. I probably lost my hair, and now it looks like it's growing back, but because they don't get a month without pay, because pay comes no matter what. It doesn't matter if you work or you don't work, you get a paycheck, right? But for us, that's not the case. We have to work to make things happen. We have to have clients. We have to have, the ability to be able to drive business, to be able to make that dollar, right? And to be able to, again, pay mortgage, pay lights, pay staff. And so, I want to chime into the next thing right now, because it's interesting. You are now doing in-house food. I can't wait to taste that, because we're about to taste some in-house food. How is that working? How exciting is that? Tell us we're going to talk a little bit about more. We're going to go eat now, and we're going to go try some amazing food. What inspired you to do that? Is there been any regulation for you on that? What has inspired you to do that before we go taste some yummy food from SkateBird Miami? So as per municipal codes and what have you, it's always been basically in-house food. It had to be, because we had to pull all the licenses and permits. We had a vendor that rented space from us in Yetis, but our liquor license, all of that is tied to food. So everything Yetis did, Yetis was basically a management company for us. Okay. And Yetis did a phenomenal job. They came in, and they fulfilled the dream that I had for small businesses, right? Where they came in, they had a small little concession in Hialeah. They came in, and they came into the big SkateBird. They built a name for themselves. They did this, and now they got this opportunity to run full food and beverage for a wakeboard park in Tampa.
Oh, amazing.
And at that point, we were in the position where, hey, you know what? We want you to stay on board, but we need a little bit more contribution from your food and beverage revenue towards the park, so that it can help sustain more things. And it is the number one driver at the park, I mean, 40% of our sales, and in our third year,
it's food and beverage?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it's about 40% sales in food and beverage, 40% in camps and classes.
Okay.
And the last 20% is in events that we do. And we could probably do more in events, but some codes and restrictions don't allow us to push it that far.
It goes back to fees and special permits to have events and all that.
And weighing in whether I'll get the noise violation or not. Those are key things that we have to consider. Noise violation is a conversation for another day, because they need to update the code on that. At the end of the day, it's not really our brand. Our brand is to build a vibrant community based on families and based on the next generation of skateboarders. So if we're doing that impact, it's great. We don't have to necessarily make tons of noise and disrupt the neighbors. So now that you're going to have it in-house, is that going to be more than 40%, or is it still going to be 40, 20, or is it going to increase? So what it does is it'll probably still end up being 40% of our revenue. It's just the profitability will be increase, and it'll give us the amount of money that we need to offset our huge overhead. We've taken a park that's still not profitable, but it's getting there. I've really changed the way people think about skate parks. There's never been a private skate park that generates $1.3 million in 1 year.
No, that's amazing.
We did that last year.
That's amazing.
We just didn't profit enough in our big revenue centers. And so
imagine what you can do when you had more support.
If we had more support and we had more, I mean, I don't know. We have the cheapest lunch in town, and we've always had it. Even with Yetis, we took pride in making sure that a pizza, and I always told Yetis, don't charge too much. Don't be the $38 pizza that Wynwood charges. Be the $20 to $25 pizza. and you know, it's getting the word out is hard.
Yeah. Well, that's our focus today, and we're gonna go into it now. We're gonna go try some amazing food. We're gonna try some pizza, and you're gonna see coming up on your screen menus, where to go taste this is amazing pizza, burger, a lots of stuff, and we'll be sharing the menu and all of that on our reel. But Jonathan, we're gonna go get some food. We're gonna take a quick break. Okay?
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I can't wait. SkateBird Miami.
We brought
coming
some
up
of our
food.
highlights.
All right. We're in the kitchen, and Alexander Lopez is going to be joining us.
Hello.
All right.
So we can have a couple of people tasting your food, and you're going to walk us through a little bit on what we're going to be eating here. Let's start off with pizza.
Sure.
And so tell me a little bit about what I'm eating and what inspired you. Is there any specific inspo? Are you using local ingredients? Tell me a little bit about it.
So what we've noticed is at the end of the day, the SkateBird Miami brand that we've brought and done, it has become very it's got a great identification with its consumers and its fans and all that. And so we stayed with our branding, and we created a kitchen that has the skate components of it. So Skate Slice is our pizza brand, Skate Burger is our hamburger brand, Skate Wings is the chicken wings brand. But it all comes under one big umbrella, which is the Skate Cafe at SkateBird Miami. It's really cool because we're thinking on brand, and our target audience is very family, it's very young and hip, and so it's an opportunity for them to be associated with the skateboard market, but come and try our food. The pizza was something that we had to have, and it's a very hard. That's hot honey there, so we can do it.
Nice, okay.
We like a little tan. It's
That's
great.
a little yummy on the recipe. No, pizza's a staple.
Pizza's a staple. Yeti's Pizza put us on the map as the best spot to have pizza, and so this has been a really big challenge. I'm excited to hear if you guys like pizza.
It's fire. I like how thin it is.
So I have a question, guys. If you have so we have pepperoni and cheese here today. Do you have anything else besides pepperoni and cheese, or
We have a veggie pizza.
Okay.
Mushrooms and
you guys will
peppers.
see the menu? We'll pop up the menu.
Yeah, and then we have also a full meat supreme pizza.
And do you only do thin, or do you also do dish?
Only thin. It's sourdough pizza.
Love it.
So
Great.
it doesn't get you filled as much.
Okay.
We wanted it to be kind of like New York style.
I was gonna
meets
say that. I was
skate
gonna
park,
say. I was
you know?
gonna say New York
So it
style.
had to be thin. It had to be crispy.
Love it.
When it comes right out of the ovens, it's amazing. It's sizzling and hot and awesome. But I'm very happy that in the
So
travel.
Is it a
it's-
thumbs up or
it's
thumbs up? Okay. There's a thumbs up from the Gen Z
amazing.
or Alpha. Question about it. Local ingredients, local farmers. Do you do anything locally?
No, just our local restaurant.
Local restaurant. Hey, that's good. I love it. I think that. Hey, listen, SkateBird Miami has pizza. Around us we have Little Caesars, Domino's, and all that good stuff, but I'm all about supporting local and trying local, and I, like Alex, I agree. I love the thin, the New York style. As a New Jersey born girl, I love the New York style. I'm definitely going to be having a bite of those, but I want to jump into your...
I'm actually happy to say that it's a starter that a very close friend of mine gave us, the sourdough starter, and it was really crazy. I never got her starter to really grow at my house.
Mm-hmm.
The second I brought it to SkateBird to the kitchen.
So you're making the sourdough?
Yeah,
oh,
we're making
that's
the
amazing.
sourdough.
Okay, great.
So we're buying the flour and mixing it with our starter.
And it takes a minute to
Yeah,
rise.
And Monica's another. She's a ghostwriter. I always joke with her and say she's gonna write my book one day.
I love it.
But we're using her starter, and it just like exploded. Like it produces a lot of sourdough.
Great.
every single day.
Great.
It's
Okay.
great. So
SkateBird Miami.
we're ready to
pizza.
serve the community with pizza.
Love it. And a thumbs up, right?
Yeah, it's
A
fine.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay. Now what do we have here?
Here are skate wings. This one I believe is the lemon pepper roasted. So we get the wings. We prep them ourselves. They get a secret batter to it, and they get oven baked. Oven baked to really make sure that they're cooked through, and then we flash fry them in the fryers so that they can get that crisp. And so we have some barbecue sauce. The hot honey is really good with them. ranch, we have buffalo sauce, we've got a couple sauces that you can choose from. You can't really beat our specials. Like we take pride in being able to help the community be able to afford it long term. You know, we're coming into a time where it's not so easy to have your $35 lunch anymore.
No, absolutely not. I mean, for those of you that Uber Eats on a regular basis, or not, probably not, because the prices are so high. Let's talk about prices a little bit. So what does a pie pizza go for, and what is a,
So pie generally goes for, I believe the cheese pie is $17.99.
Okay,
We have a lunch special though for $13.99. You get a full cheese pie with
Okay.
some Coke, so you can share
Okay.
the cheese pie with somebody. I mean,
yeah,
for
one size
$13.99,
pies, like
yeah,
just regular
one size,
Okay.
16-inch pies.
Great.
We also sell by the slice. The slice is actually like the size of a quarter pie.
Ooh,
So it's nice.
yeah. It reminds me of, there was a place right over the corner from us called Eastside Pizza, it's no longer there.
Right. Now it's Yes. It's actually
Now it's Yes, that's Yes.
And there's a good pizza, artisanal pizza, Mark's, right there next.
Give me
next to
one
that.
second, because he's a little busy here. How's that wing? How's that wing?
No, it's gas.
It's good.
No, it's gas.
It's gas?
No, it's gas.
That must be an alpha turn. Okay, it's gas, okay. Do you want it, would you like it,
Oh,
would you like regular?
Dip it in the hot honey.
Dip it in the hot honey. Yeah, but you like spicy?
That's fine.
That's fine, you're good, okay, with that.
It's fine.
Now this is,
Go for it.
what do we got here?
These are the traditional oven roasted style. So no soft flavorings added, just the regular seasoning that we put on prior to putting them in the fryer. That's it. So it's like your plain.
Not gonna be, Alexander, you can try, these are plain, okay?
I personally love to order them always plain and then just order the sauces.
Yeah.
Buffalo sauce.
You gotta save room, we got some burgers here. You're gonna be good?
Um, We have also a smash burger and a regular burger. So the
Yummy.
smash burger is 4 ounce flattened. It should be very crispy.
Do you know which is which?
This one I believe is the 8 ounce, so the regular burger it's a little bigger. That one is the smash burger, or we call it like the kids burger, the kids cheeseburger.
That's for you.
I'll take
Lettuce, tomato, onions come standard, and then a secret sauce. The bread is delicious. That is purchased from a local distributor.
Oh, great.
Um, It's good.
Thumbs up?
Awesome.
Okay.
This is the more traditional burger.
What are you doing to promote? Are you on Uber Eats, are you on?
We're on
DoorDash?
We're on DoorDash, on
Okay.
Grubhub, on Uber Eats. You just
Okay.
look it up. If you want pizza, it's Skate Slice. If you want burger, SkateBird.
Oh, okay.
Just put the word skate before anything that you want to eat, and you'll find it.
Oh, I love it.
Um,
What are your hours?
Our hours are the same hours that the park is open. Currently, the park is open from noon to 8
Okay.
daily,
Monday through Sunday?
Monday through Sunday.
Every holiday you're open, or there are holidays you're closed?
We're open almost every holiday except for Thanksgiving and Christmas Day.
Okay.
Um,
Let's try the burger.
Good old cheeseburger. It's good. You can have it with all the
Really good.
fixings. The only thing that we're missing, and we're probably gonna do like a community play with it because our Instagram has gotten very popular and
Yes.
and our community is very engaging. We're trying to create the one staple item that's not sold anywhere else, or not done anywhere. I've thought of like old recipes that my mom that I grew up on and things like that we could add into the one burger or the one
Yeah.
fried chicken sandwich or something like that that'll draw the attention.
Yeah.
You know, like pizza, you can get a good slice of pizza almost anywhere in Maine. You know?
No, I get it.
It's very hard to.
That was definitely something I wanted to ask you, if you're gonna have some family, you started off today by talking about your father and what a staple he is in the community and how long he's been in here and he's made such a difference to so many lives through, teaching them how to swim. So do you have a staple dish in your home, whether it's a sauce, whether it's a dish that you're gonna introduce and call it the Skate Strauss, right? Your last name is Skate Strauss. I don't know, is it gonna be a sauce, is it gonna be,
I don't know that. We've been playing around with ideas. Who knows what it'll be? But my mom, I grew up, and every single friend that would come to my house, I still get text messages from like my coach in college, my swim coach in college, or friends saying, "Can I get a shipment of rajas to my house?" You know, like my mom's ramen, they're like, yeah, that was the best thing. It's like
Aw.
it's an onion and poblano. It really is delicious. Onion and poblano pepper grilled,
Good.
and
That
then
sounds delicious.
she mixes it with Mexican cream sauce
Mhm.
and like a chicken soup,
Mhm.
and so it becomes this like awesome like sauce basically that you can put on anything. And so we've thought that if I came up with a crispy fried chicken sandwich with that on top and no other fixings and maybe some pickles, it would be fire.
I was gonna
gas.
So, I don't know, gas, fire, like, what's better, gas or fire?
Gas.
Gas, okay, gas. So what's gas here? We got pizza,
Oh,
we
everything's
got-
gas.
everything's gas.
This
Come
is
on,
all-
let's rate, you gotta rate it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, give us a 1. I love smash burgers, so smash burgers.
That's 2.
That's a 3. Not even try that. Wow,
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Alright, chicken wings. The chicken wings are very special, especially when we have game nights in the bar. The other part that we're very passionate about is our bar. Our bar has to be awesome.
Actually, what that's, I want to talk about that real quick. I mean, we don't have any alcohol here today. We have some beer. I think this is
Yeah, it's our own
Brew?
brewed
amazing.
SkateBird beer. Yeah,
oh, love that. Okay.
So,
So you also have a full license, you have alcohol.
full license,
SkateBird
a
Miami on
4
Monday through
COP,
Sunday, they have a full bar.
so you can get liquor with your purchase of our food
Okay.
and what have you, and it's a great pairing.
Tell us a little bit what you got here going. Here you
So
go.
I brought our beer, and
Uh-huh.
it's our skate park beer, and it's SkateBird Brew.
Okay.
Each one has its own story. It's tied in with the local community or with the skateboard community. Like here's our original lager. It's a laid back lager. It's, when you think chilling with your friends after a hard skate session, you know. So it says inspired by the chill birds of El Portal. This is a laid back lager
Love
with a
that.
smooth taste and a crisp, snappy finish that's heavy on the steez. Craft brewed and bottom fermented slow and a low for a classic lager flavor.
I
And
love
it's
it.
brewed here locally with Prison Pals.
And I love this. It's a shout out to El Portal. El Portal is a bird sanctuary community. That is where SkateBird Miami is located. And they have a lot of eagles. And so this, I didn't know that. Very nice. Very nice.
And then the IPA, because we had to have an IPA, and it was very funny. We had to do the IPA because I won't mention any names, but we had an IPA at the beginning. That was a local craft brew, and it just didn't have like attractive like labeling or what have you, and we couldn't sell it.
Mm.
And so I said, you know what? If we're doing our lager, let me just test it. I made new stickers. I'm going to be guilty of telling you guys a secret. I made new stickers, and I put my stickers on it, and we created the SkateBird.
And it sells
This
more
is
now.
not that product now.
And
This
it
is not
sells-
that, but we were able to sell the beer. That
Basically.
wasn't being sold from my friend. Like he wasn't able to move the
The
product. because
power of
packaging.
branding.
And the second we put it here, we would do it. And the funniest thing was some of our customers would come and they had a few left over from the original, and I would say, if you buy our SkateBird beer, you get the other one for free. So I would give them both, and they would open both, and they wouldn't like the orange one for some reason, but they would love the one that we had that was private label. But now we have our own IPA, and it's
Well, it's aesthetic pleasing to the
hazy
eye.
IPA, and it's inspired by downtown Venice Beach.
Very
This
nice.
hazy IPA has a well-balanced bright citrus aroma with hoppy grapefruit undertones that will always pair well with sidewalk surfing.
Not only that, but I think when you go to SkateBird Miami and El Portal, branding is everywhere. You know when you're there based on the colors. The colors very Miami Vice-like, right? It's got the bright, beautiful colors, the bright, beautiful containers. And so I guess I have one closing question is, you provide skate park, you provide food now, you provide events. Do you have an event coming up?
Yeah, and we do events and we allow creatives in our space to come and launch new ideas. Like every Sunday this month we have a guy that's super famous internationally, but nobody really knows him here yet. His name is Joner.
Okay.
So every Sunday during the month of July, he's doing a freestyle like hip hop battle in Spanish.
Wow.
And they come and it's like very street culture oriented. They love the fact that they're in the skate park. It's great entertainment for the families that come. They're battling and like talking trash to each other on the mic, you know, and it's great. And then on Saturday, actually, we're
This Saturday.
hosting an activation by Zoomies,
Okay.
and it's from 4 to 8.
Okay.
Zoomies is coming. There's gonna be a DJ because many weekends we have DJs anyway. They're bringing pro skateboarders.
Okay.
They're bringing cool activations, free giveaways. It's absolutely free to
That's
come
what
to the
additional
park.
cost to go in?
No,
Okay.
absolutely free. You just have to go on their website
Okay.
and sign up for a ticket. Or
And what's
if you
the
don't get a
website?
ticket, it's on zoomies.com.
Zoomies.com,
Or
okay.
on their Instagram page. You can go on it. you'll click the link to go to the Eventbrite, you'll get a ticket, and everybody comes in free. If you don't get the ticket, you'll be able to come in when you come. Between 4 and 8, I recommend you Uber. It's always challenging to park in El Portal. We're working on it. Hopefully, with the new developers that have purchased, there could actually finally be an access road from Village Hall of El Portal to 83rd Street, which is something that's absolutely necessary. Because all the residents of El Portal can't walk. They have to go through US 1, so they end up driving.
Walkability here. Not right now, there's no walkability,
And so hopefully we'll be there, and I'm excited that you guys like the food, and I invite everybody to come. We got great lunch specials, great pricing on all the food.
Oh, yes. So let's talk real quick before we close. The pizza you already told us, the wings are?
The wings are, if you get 6 wings, it's only $7.99.
Okay, and the burger?
And the burger is a $12.99 burger.
Okay, great, really good.
We tried to make it cheaper than Flanagan's.
Yeah. Well, if you are in the El Portal area, you should be checking out SkateBird Miami. Not only do they have the opportunity for your children to bike and skateboard in a pump track, but they also host amazing events like they're hosting one this Saturday, and now they even do their in-house food. And Alexander has rated the food, and I agree with him. Well, actually, no, I'm going to do my rate. 1, because I'm a burger lover. And then I'm going to do 2, and then I'm going to do 3, 4. That's just a different generation. Okay, so you're the 1 on the way. 1.
The smash burger.
2.
That was
3, 4. But it doesn't matter. They're in the top 5, and you should definitely try it. And when you're there, have this too. So Jonathan, I want to thank you so much. Love having you here. We'll definitely be eating this a little bit later. And so thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today, Alexander. Okay, thank you. All right. Of course. As we conclude our yummy and enlightening discussion with Jonathan from SkateBird Miami, it's evident that his passion for skateboarding and community has fueled his journey in the village of El Portal. We explore the complexities of launching a business amid local government regulation. It's crucial to recognize that once a business is open, government support should focus on fostering growth rather than imposing additional fees that can stifle innovation and success. By streamlining regulations and reducing unnecessary costs, local government can create an environment where businesses can thrive, and this will benefit the entire community. Moreover, it is so exciting to see how SkateBird Miami is evolving, especially now with the introduction of their in-house food service, which adds a new layer of the skate park experience. This not only enhances the vibe, but also contributes to a thriving local economy. Jonathan, thank you for sharing your insight and experience with us today. Your story is a testament to the power of passion, perseverance, and creativity in overcoming obstacles. To our listeners out there, let's continue to support local businesses and be a part of the conversation on how we can collectively improve our community for everyone involved. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Candid with Claudia. Now, don't forget to skate your way to our social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.